potential stepsister? About 4 months ago, I proposed to my girlfriend. We had been dating for several years, and she accepted. We started planning for our wedding soon after and sent out invitations a couple weeks ago. Me and my mother don't get along, and I went no contact with her a year ago. But today, she called me and told me that we could not get married. I asked why, and she said she is dating my girlfriend's father, and that once they got married, we would have to separate since incest is illegal, and she would be my stepsister. I asked my girlfriend when she got home, and she asked her father. It turns out that they had been dating for almost a year now, and although he has known me for several years, he didn't realize he was dating my mother because my mother has the last name of her most recent husband. She's been married 5 times. I was fathered by her second husband. He showed my mother the wedding invitation, and I guess she decided to break the news to me before him. My girlfriend and I love each other, and we both want to stay together, but we are worried there might be a shotgun wedding to prevent us from getting married. My potential stepfather has said he will have to collect his feelings to figure out how to approach this. He said he wasn't planning on proposing anytime soon, but we're worried my mother might pressure him to do this to try and spite me now that she knows about his daughter and I. I hope that he breaks up with her, but if they are indeed a match, it is a horrible thought to want them to be separated. If our parents get married first, will we be unable to? Would there be any consequences if we were to have children without getting married if we were step-siblings? If we were to marry first, would it still be fine for our parents to marry later on? Should we just go to wherever they do marriage licenses and get married now, but still do the ceremony in a few months as originally planned? Or are we doomed to be forcibly separated regardless? I am in New York.
Am I the asshole for telling my dad the horse is dead when he asked me if we could have a relationship? My mom and dad married young and had 6 ladder step kids. The longest gap in ages between us is 27 months. My dad found a job that paid well, but he would be home for 2 weeks every 3 months or so. When he was home, he'd show some interest in us, but most times he'd be sleeping or watching TV. One night when he was gone for work and we were with our aunt since my mom had to work, the whole neighborhood broke into our house and completely destroyed and stole everything.
The whole neighborhood is
terrifying, dude. That's so scary.
When my mom took the cops to our neighbor's house, she pointed out every house that helped and said what they took because she wouldn't be the only one in trouble.
Every house.
After that, we went to our aunt's and my mom called my dad, told him what happened and asked him repeatedly to come home. He chose to stay at work. And after that night, we didn't see him for about a year and a half.
Oh my God. He's scared.
He caused it. He planned it. There's only one reason.
When he did show up, it would be in sporadic intervals from 10 months to 2 years apart and only for a few minutes at a time, but always when my mom wasn't around. When I turned 14, he started coming around more often and started spending an hour or 2 with us every couple of months. He took special interest in us living with him and would make a point to say it every time he saw us. At 15, I moved in and everything went downhill fast. He started mentally and verbally attacking my looks and my body. He'd talk about women often and how they should always submit no matter what. He would give me something only to take it back. He gave me an allowance but would be mad if I spent it. He got upset with me for not talking to him enough, but would give one-word responses when I tried to start a conversation. Then there was a situation where I found some pretty damning evidence of his mistreatment of my mom on his computer. I was a busy kid with little to no free time. I was in sports, after-school clubs, student council, theater, and prom/homecoming committee. When homecoming came around, I asked if I could go. He agreed and was reminded almost every week of when it was. The night of homecoming, when my date arrived to pick me up, he pulls me to the side and says I can't go because I had to help him pack and move out of our house. Completely blindsided because what? We did not discuss moving out, and why would you wait until homecoming night to say something? We went back and forth for a little while, and I offered to come straight home afterwards instead of spending the night with my friends like I intended. He was annoyed, but agreed. The dance was at 9. I got home at 9:45. I was helping pack along with some cousins he invited over, but I guess I wasn't going fast enough. He started yelling and he ended up laying hands on me. I left immediately and called my aunt who came to get me. He started flooding my phones with texts and calls saying how ungrateful I am, how I cost him so much money, how bad of a person I am, etc. I didn't respond to any of it. After about 2 months, I started reaching out to ask him about my clothes and belongings, asking if we could talk, etc. He never responded and blocked my number. I went to his house a few months after that, but when he opened the door and saw it was me, he slammed the door in my face and started cussing at me through the door until I left. It has been almost 12 years since then. On to a few weeks ago. I got a text from a random number calling me by my name. Me, who is this? Him, it's your dad. Me, what do you want? Him, I want to see about me being your dad and you being my daughter. A wave of confusion, disbelief, and finally rage washes over me all at once, and I respond, that horse is dead. He waited a few minutes and replied, it's not dead, just on life support. But with some work, it can get better. I blocked him and I called my mom. She said, that's still your dad. You need to let that hurt go and talk to him. Her response is what has me second guessing the way I handled the situation and has me thinking that maybe I was a little too harsh. Maybe trying to explore a relationship with him is something I should do. However, if this were a random person doing these things, it would be cut and dry to never speak to them again. So why should I give him another chance just because we're related? Why should I do the work on his terms when he wasn't willing to meet me or speak to me on mine? Why do I feel like the bad guy for making a stance for my own mental well-being? Why is it okay for him to mistreat everyone and only when he's ready is when it will be resolved? Should I listen to my mom instead and just talk to him anyway? Top comment, not the asshole, he wants something. He's not calling for your benefit, only his own. You aren't obligated to let anyone in your life regardless of relationship. But it's family. Nope. Tell any flying monkeys that they're welcome to have a relationship with them if they choose. You're choosing not to, and they will find themselves on the same list as dear old dad if they keep pushing the issue.
Fiance, 35 male, says I, 38 female, need to do all of the cleaning and cooking even though we both work and pay bills 50-50. I disagree. Help. Been together for almost 10 years. My fiance has been watching a lot of videos online and has changed a lot lately on his views of women and such. We are both in 30s. I have a 4-year-old daughter and I'm 4 months pregnant with our second daughter. He has said, quote, all the women at work cook and clean after work. He works 8 to 5. I work 10 to 6:30 from home, but a regular hourly paid job for a large healthcare insurance company. I can take calls all day and watch our 4-year-old all day as well. He says while I'm working, I should be able to also, in addition to watching and teaching and interacting with our 4-year-old, to be able to clean the house, and he should be able to come home to dinner even though he gets home and I'm usually still in the clock. He says men and women are not equals. Men have their roles outside mowing the lawn, and the women are supposed to cook and clean. I believe we both pay half the bills even though he makes substantially more money. We both work full-time, so we both should contribute equally to housework/cooking, as well as these are life skills, not gender roles. I've also tried to compromise and ask if I could lower my hours to part-time to try to accommodate him, to which he said no, then we won't have enough money. Am I going crazy, or should I be totally fine with this? I'm so tired of the constant criticism that everything's not done or the house is messy with toys from our child because I'm multitasking already, as it is usually super stressful running around like a chicken with its head cut off, as well as feeling like crap from this pregnancy, suffering from constant migraines and nausea/vomiting, officially diagnosed with hyperemesis gravida. I love him and I don't know if I can afford this house plus everything for a new baby on my own, but this is really starting to make me feel inadequate/not good enough. So I just need to know if I should be doing everything no problem and I'm just a lazy pregnant woman that needs to suck it up, or am I justified in thinking that he needs to be pitching in and splitting responsibilities around the house 50-50 with me as we do the bills?
Want more stories like this? Check out our podcast. Search Thread Talk on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube.